When it comes to serving individuals with disabilities and their families, it's important not to lose sight of the thing you're actually setting out to do, serving the person. Sure, there are logistical pieces to making Night to Shine an unforgettable celebration, from decor and catering to photography and limos. But when you get right down to it, all you're doing is making sure you're setting the stage well enough to give you the opportunity to serve the individual and to serve them well. And that all starts with building relationships. Building relationships is key to serving those with disabilities, and we don't need to look any further than to Jesus and the life he led on earth to figure out the best way to go about doing that. Jesus wasn't just a man for the people, but he was a man with the people. He continually went into the margins, sat down with the woman at the well, immersed himself with the crowd and with those who others set aside to see eye to eye with people. He's a Jesus who goes into the margins to be with his people. It was always about more than service with him. It was authentic relationship. So how do we do that? How do we build authentic relationships with our brothers and sisters with disabilities? When we are approaching that new friend with disabilities, we start by seeing the whole person, welcoming them with open arms, finding out what their likes and interests are, and finding things that you can personally connect with about. That's how building a relationship starts. It's about erasing the idea in our head about service provider and service recipient and just seeing ourselves as people. Two people who both equally reflect the image of God, who both belong to each other as brothers and sisters in Christ, and who are both made for relationship. Remove that barrier, and the rest is familiar territory. It's connecting relationally with another person, spending time in communion with someone else. Just like your family and the social circles you keep, the way that we build these relationships can sometimes look different. We all have the friend who is quieter and likes to do more listening than talking. We all have the friend who is the exact opposite, who talks a lot. And if you can't think of who that person is in your friend circle, that means you're likely that friend. The same goes when we're building relationships with people with disabilities. Let me give you a variety of contexts and examples to help you. First, we may know someone who uses alternate modes of communication. Maybe doesn't speak with their mouth, but utilizes nods or hand gestures or eye gazing. My goal is still to build rapport and build relationship. That's the exact place I want to start and end. It may just mean that I'll be carrying more of the conversation, or maybe changing up my dialogue slightly to provide more opportunities for yes or no responses. I'm still there and in it in the conversation, still very present, still asking about your day, making eye contact and connection, telling a joke here or there. These are the things that you do when you're trying to build relationships with a person, and the foundation of that, of building connection, of being relational, of being intentional, remains the same. Next, if you have the opportunity to meet someone at Night to Shine who is accompanied by a provider, whether it's a personal support worker, interpreter, or even a parent, be sure to still fix your eyes on the person, not the provider. Treat it as any other conversation. Ask questions, respond, and simply keep your eyes on the one who you're building a relationship with. In addition, some friends with special needs may occasionally need a little more time to think about your question or to verbalize their answer. Give them all the time they need to talk with you. Don't try to answer for them. Be patient and not in a hurry. It's okay to ask someone with a disability to repeat themselves as well. This shows that you're truly interested in what they have to say and you're ready to work together to figure it out. A dear friend of mine uses a wheelchair for mobility, and I've learned a lot from her worth sharing as well. There are some important things to understand when you approach a friend in a wheelchair. First, don't assume that you can come up and lean on or touch the wheelchair. Always ask first. This is an important tool that they rely on, so show respect by always asking first. Second, when you're communicating with a friend in a wheelchair, find a way to be on their level so you can look them in the eye so they're not having to adjust their view of you or strain to see you. Lastly, don't assume by allowing you to touch their wheelchair means they authorize you to push them all over the place. My friend Naomi has had too many bad drivers and was nervous with other people in control of her mobility. Again, always ask. We're all made in the image of God, all made with our own strengths and needs. Someone communicating in a different way, or thinking about things in a different way, or understanding things in a different way. Those don't equate to barriers hindering our ability to build a relationship with that person. There is still plenty of relationship to be had. A friend of mine has cerebral palsy, and his expressive language can be tough to understand. What isn't difficult to understand is his love of sports, however. So, by establishing context and picking up on some key words that I hear Lucas say about his favorite team or about the game last night, I might not be receiving every word he is saying, but understanding the context has helped me pick up on part of it and gives me some good questions to throw back at him to gain further context and understand him even more, to get to know him even more and understand him even better. I now know my friend better through growing and understanding him, knowing what interests him, celebrating with him, and so much more as I've pursued relationship with him, with the person that he so distinctly is. No matter who comes down that Night to Shine red carpet this year, we aren't going to know the best way to serve them until we get to know them first. And just like anyone else in our lives, the best way to get to know them is to sit with them, to talk with them, to show them authentic care and attention, and engage with them on a personal level. Remember that everything starts with relationship. To recognize the person in front of you as someone fearfully and wonderfully made by God, just like you, recognize the mutuality of this, what they have to offer you as well, and taking the steps to make a personal connection. This is how we love and serve like Jesus, and this is how we grow into relationship with others.